Hey there, and welcome to my flourish called Modern Art. Now, I first developed this flourish a couple years ago when I noticed that the only way a fan was really utilized in a cut was to do a fan flip. Now, I wanted to create my own unique cut that involved a fan, but didn't use a fan flip to incorporate it. Now, I've started playing around with a couple ideas, and I noticed that it was really hard to create a fan within a cut, so instead I started out with the fan and added the packets to the fan itself to create the flourish. Now, the flourish started out as a display where I thought it looked like a modern art piece, hence the name, but I ended up not liking the display because I couldn't see a lot of those two packets and I didn't feel like it did it justice. So instead I developed a flourish and a smooth card cut out of the beginner part with the fan, and you get the final product. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you find this flourish unique. Let's get into how to learn it. Just a couple of prerequisites you have to know before doing the cut. You have to know how to do a smear fan or a one-handed fan, and you also have to know how to do a Shirley cut. So if you know those two elements, you should be able to perform this cut. For the opener, you're going to want to start in a straddle grip position, or a high straddle grip, as you're going to be performing some Shirley cut elements. Your other hand comes over and grips the deck like it would if it were going to be preparing for a smear fan. So the pinky finger comes along the long edge here, your ring finger comes along the short edge, and your middle finger comes along the short edge, pretty much surrounding that index finger, and then your other index finger comes along the other long edge. Your thumb comes at the back and breaks off a packet of cards of about 20. And you'll notice that it's in the position to perform a smear fan. So you put your thumb at the corner and you perform that smear fan. And then you're going to, as you're performing that smear fan, you take this hand and you start a Shirley cut. So you start the first part of the Shirley. From this position, you're going to take your pinky finger and you're going to bring it underneath that cut packet, and your ring finger comes on top of that packet there, gripping it. You then flip your hand, making sure that the middle finger is holding this fan in place. You're going to bring out your index finger, so you're going to extend your index finger out and around the fan. You're once again going to perform part of a Shirley cut. That packet slides in between your thumb and the index finger and is gripped. And that's your opener. One little tip you might like to note about the smear fan is you don't want to go too far, because if you go too far, when you're extending your index finger, it's going to be really hard to get it past the fan, and you might end up running into issues there. So it's just a small smear fan, and that way it can be supported by the middle finger better, and it's easier to get that index finger around the fan. At this point, your thumb's going to come along this side of the fan and start closing it up. So the fan will start closing between the index finger and the middle finger. So you close the fan with the thumb, so the thumb's contacting the long edge here. The index finger comes along the short edge at the top, and your middle finger comes along the other side to square those cards into a packet. You then pull this hand away. You curl in your ring finger underneath that packet, and then you clip it via the pinky finger. So this packet's now clipped. You extend that clipped packet out. Your index finger comes underneath the other packet in that hand and pushes it up against the thumb. That clip packet then gets curled in on top of that index finger. The next part you're going to do is a little tricky to explain, but essentially what's going to happen is this hand, you're going to curl in your wrist, and you're going to extend out that ring finger. These two packets will close together on top of the packet that's held by the pinky finger and the ring finger. You then remove your ring finger from the top part of this packet by sort of elevating it slightly, so only the pad of the pinky finger is touching the bottom card. Because of the friction, the pinky finger is going to pull out the bottom card, and then you're going to re-grip that packet with the ring finger. In order to drag out that single card though, you have to make sure that you're not applying too much pressure on the deck, because if you do, you're going to end up dragging out too many cards. So you just want to keep a loose grip on the deck so that friction can pull that card out. You're then going to turn this hand face up, and you're going to slide this packet on top of the deck. However, you're going to maintain the grip on the top card with the index finger and slide off that top card, gripping it between the index finger and the thumb. So you've got two single cards in this hand. You're going to turn your hand the other way. So it's face up right now. You're going to turn your hand face down, and you're going to extend your fingers out to add a little bit of flair to the cut. From this position, you're actually going to reach over top of this packet. The middle finger is going to go underneath of it. You're going to grip that packet between the middle finger and the index finger there, and you're going to strip it out, and then you're ready for the closer. The closer is fairly simple. You're going to turn this hand face up, and you're going to slide the card that's in between the index finger and the thumb on top of the deck. So you're just going to release that card and let it slide. You're going to turn your hand back over, so it's going to be turned back face down. The packet, or the single card that's held between the pinky and the ring finger, gets slid on top of the deck. And this packet that's gripped between the index finger and the middle finger is going to come over top of the index finger, turning that packet face up. You're going to curl those fingers in, and that packet's going to go on top. And that's your closer. And that was my Flourish Modern Art. I really hope you enjoyed the Flourish, and I wanted to say thank you for watching.